Hello and welcome. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, wait. I got my new headset. Yeah, okay, I almost forgot to put this on. All right. Testing. Uh-oh. Now I hope I get it right. Sound is on. Okay. Hey, what's up? What's up, Ollie? Trying to get my headphones to work. This is something new for me. I hope I didn't blow. What's up, Jamie? Okay, my headphones ain't working. Oh, I might have to do this without them. I should have tested them first. Let me see. Can I get it right? Oh man, I'm up. I'm good, bro. I'm good, little brother. I'm trying to get my headphones to work because this is going to change like the fuzz in the background and everything. Let me try one more thing. Okay, and show controls. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, aha! Here we go. You know I ain't gonna let technology beat me. Look, I'm hearing an echo. Are you? Y'all could be my sound check. I'm hearing an echo. It could just be because it's in the headphones. Y'all hearing an echo? Jamie, Ollie, let me know. Y'all hearing an echo? Ooh, I'm gonna have to ignore that sound. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. We still got less than a minute. Quick, give me my sound check. Are y'all hearing an echo? Well, I need to know that. Oh, sounds good. Thanks, James. All right. Maybe. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just hearing it because it's going in my earphone. I don't know why. Wait, tell me if y'all here. Do y'all still hear me right now? Because I've got my screen on mute. Because maybe that's what it was. Maybe I shouldn't have had myself hearing myself at the same time. So can y'all hear me right now on the mic or loud and clear? Well, then let's roll. Welcome to Glue Wednesday. And those of you, if this is your first time joining in, then you will understand that I have chosen to call it Glue Wednesday because most people say it's Hump Day Wednesday. And I believe that Wednesday is not the day that we need to hump and get over, but it's the day that we need to recognize that it's the connecting point of the beginning and the end of the week. So I call it the glue of the week. And I would rather have the feeling with my word sensitivity of having to keep it together rather than having to worry about get over, which would a hump would be. But today, I'm going to focus on, because I know a lot of people know, this is 9/11. This is a day in infamy and tragedy in America. And of course, that tragedy in America had a domino effect of tragedy around the world. So what I'm going to focus on, as you can see in the description up above, anger is a reactionary emotion. If I can get you to stay angry, I can control you. Pride is a voluntary emotion. If I can appreciate my progress, I can feel good enough about myself to celebrate my feast. You see, in other words, hey Jane, in other words, see, if I can get you angry, you will start to look forward to seeing me so that you can get back at me. So therefore, I'm controlling your thoughts. You say, oh, okay, here he comes right now. And he did this or she did that. And now I'm going to get back at them. And so you stick your foot out. This is the example I like to use is you stick your foot out and you hope they hit your foot. And then that way you can spontaneously look like you hauled off and hit them because they did something to you first. And so here they come. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, and they don't hit your foot. And they walk right past you and ignore you. And so you're like, oh man, because you want everybody else to see that you, the innocent one, that they assaulted you first, kind of, sort of, right? So so now you say, okay, they didn't hit my foot. But when they come back, then I'm gonna stick my foot out a little further, and then they definitely gonna hit my foot. And then I'm gonna look like I'm just reacting to they hit my foot, and I'm gonna haul off and hit them. So now, when you see me coming back, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I don't hit your foot again. And so you don't hit me, right? Which, again, which you wanted to make look like it was spontaneous. I bring that up again. Why? Because what I want to show you is how anger can control you. Coming when you were just thinking about what you were going to do to me, I was in control of your thoughts. See, so I had control of your mind because you were saying, I'm going to hit him when he hits my foot. When I didn't hit your foot, now what you say, okay, I'm still going to get him and I'm going to stick my foot out further. So in other words, the second time I controlled your body. I controlled your mind coming, and because I didn't react the way your mind said, I controlled your body. You put your body out there further so that you can get the reaction that you wanted because I was in control of you. So I hope you can see how that means that anger controls you. And so I set that premise up because I want us to remember, 9/11, first, it's a time for us to not get caught up in the anger of those attacks, but let's get caught up in the pride of how we came back and continue to look at the country that we live in and be proud Americans. We've got a lot of proud Americans in our midst. And I want to say that I'm definitely one of them, and I hope you're one of them. But so that year, so I'm going to read you two poems and then speak from them and have a little exercise for us to do right here on the broadcast. In my book, A Poet in Every Prophet, I actually copywrote. I published the book that year, as it happens, in 2001. So here's the introduction. And let me say this, by the way, so you can understand the introduction a little better. I published that book, and what I did is I showed from 2001 to 2011 all the poems that I wrote in those years. And so I published them chronologically in those years so I can look at the moves that I went through and the topics that I covered that year, which is a good thing to do if you write a journal. It's because what you want to be doing is tracking your personality and your spirit. But in 2011, here's how I opened the book. Though the World Trade Center attack of 9/11 happened toward the end of the year, because it happened in September, it defined the year and created a conscious upgrade of worldwide security that will outlive this book. America had been the carefree land of the free that only heard about tragic violence taking place in other countries, or let's face it, on TV in the movies. So though the other poems in this chapter were likely written earlier in the year, I'd say I was in a theme of resiliency throughout the year. You see, memories are motivators. Sometimes they motivate pain, yet they always refresh a lesson. Are you enjoying life today? This was written, and these two poems were written to memorialize 9/11. And the first poem is called And I've Got a Great Imagination. Because you think about the news, remember we heard about people jumping from the World Trade Center 80 stories and above, that was a better answer to being to the flames that were going on. So that's what this poem kind of talks about. And you're going to find some old school cartoons in here as well. So I'm giving you a spoiler alert and help you to enjoy it in a different way. But this is called And I've Got a Great Imagination. Yet I can't picture a leap from 80 stories being the lesser of two deaths, even when I can understand the lesson in dying on stage. Towers only collapse in movies, and they wait until Bruce Willis has had a conversation with the guy on Wesley Snipes' plane. And the guy explains everything his family and people have been through, so we can have time to cut the power, dump the fuel, or put up an invisible shield. In the cartoons, the buildings see the plane coming and hold their stomachs in, or duck, or thank Superman for grabbing the tail just in time. Oh wait, that would be the comic book version. The cartoon would be with Mighty Mouse. In fact, the second plane will look up and hold its breath, just in case Mighty isn't looking. and then run out of fuel and stop 11 inches from the window, where Tweety Bird's eyes are getting bigger as she watches the approach with beads of sweat popping and dripping in every direction. Did you ever notice that only one character sees the plane? As if a personalized golden bullet with one name that has no regard for the minor roles being played, prepared to reward and retract your 15 minutes turned seconds of fame for an out-of-body monologue that erased the need for senses 1 through 4. Sound would cease, and a reel of unreal revelation would flood the screen to replace the tears you won't get to cry. The canceled lunch at Windows of the World will pass without regret, as the stench of surrender, surprise, and stuff supersede fear, and you blink in pride. In the comic book, it would say crash, and an unwanted echo, bam, B-A-M-M, be a martyr, martyr, martyr. While mortar and ash become colors that decorate memories of a life I can't imagine throwing out the window. This time, Wile E. Coyote won't even follow Roadrunner into the tunnel. Bugs Bunny won't know what's up, and Charlie Brown will kick the football. I can see it all now. See, I've got a great imagination. Sometimes it's the reality that I don't get. So if you think about that poem and you think about all the things that took place on 9/11, what people thought were hey, what's up, Chet, and Kevin, the response to the tragedy, you have to realize that the reality is sometimes what we don't get. The imagination sometimes seems a little bit more real. And what we have to do as we celebrate this day is think about some of the people who made a difference. But what I want you to do first is let's do the exercise that I told you I wanted us to do. Did you hear the cartoons in that poem? Did you hear about Mighty Mouse, Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny? Just list different cartoons that you've seen and enjoyed in your life. And I'm gonna get you the point on that later. But right now, I just want you to list a cartoon that you remember and something that you used to enjoy watching. Maybe it was on a Saturday or Sunday morning. But also, as we're doing that, we can do that throughout the broadcast. As we do that, think about some of the security changes that have gone on because of 9/11. You see, we advocated in our old schoolness, we advocated and celebrated changes. Let's not knock the next generation for doing the same. Here's some changes that I had in security just from 9/11, some things that have changed in my life security-wise, right? The point, we used to be able to, hey, old young people, we used to be able to not just walk into the airport, we used to be able to go to the plane and sit in the waiting area for our person who was getting ready to leave or come back. And in fact, I had a situation where a friend of mine took the kid onto the plane and put him in his seat. That's what we used to be able to do. We used to get meals on airplanes. But would you like cookies or juice? We used to get a meal, and of course people would complain about whether or not their meal was burnt if they didn't like it. But we used to get meals. We used to have a smoking section on the plane, just like we had on buses and in buildings. See, ladies and gentlemen, older generation, these are some of the changes that have come about from 9/11, but also throughout our lives. And that's why I say, when I hear people say this younger generation doesn't appreciate this and that, we advocated for certain changes and we celebrated ourselves and we got them. Let's continue to celebrate the changes that our young people advocate for. You remember what, Miriam, what the things on the planes? Yeah, a lot of things. So just, again, think of some of the changes that you've experienced, but I want somebody to list a cartoon that they really liked, when they were growing up and that they used to watch, okay? And let me go on, all right? Then the second poem that I want to read is called Play Ball, because after the strikes, after the attacks, America we were polarized. What were we going to do? And you see, I've got on my New York and my red, white, and blue for America, but we had to find a way. What are we going to do to get back? See, we were used to seeing the attacks in other countries, and on the movies, but we didn't see them here in America. So what were we going to do to get back? Well, the Major League Baseball, they decided, you know what? We need to get back to our way of life. Let's play ball. And I should have checked. Does anybody know when we got back to when the Major League, hey, the Flintstones got back to playing baseball? That was our signal to say, we survived. Let's get people back, and not make them forget the tragedy what happened, but let us start to focus on what we're going to do going forward, because we are America. So that's why this poem is called "Play Ball." Oh, we're not always proud of it, but unrest puts us at our best. We can find joy when you seek to destroy, and we have bounced back from every attack. So don't question our courage and resolve. Attacking defeat, I'm sorry. So don't question our courage and resolve. Accepting defeat happens to go against our grain. We don't look forward to it, but we have learned to master all pain. We've made some mistakes, had to cover our tracks. We've always managed to bounce back from every attack. We deal with crime, promiscuity, alcohol, and crack. We've always managed to bounce back from every attack. We have people who disagree because their lives are defiant of gray. They see life only in black or white or black. They refuse to listen because they have so much to say. Classes of people, economics and education, housing, suburbs, ghettos, morals and values, politically correct or in need of more tact. Our melting pot has fed and whet many an appetite. Even our homeless know how to fight back. You see, our nation was built by revolutionaries and civil unrest, adversaries, backstabbers, and visionaries with an addiction for being the best. With all of our power, we've arrogantly stayed humble. We've destroyed, yet more often cut slack. Yet when you force us to show our colors, we easily repledge our allegiance. For our secret is no secret at all, it's a fact. We're America the Beautiful. Our pride rejuvenates our spirit. And did I mention we always fight back? So that's what I'm saying. I'm proud of America, and that I live here and what we did after the World Trade Center tragedy. And I don't, when the 9/11 comes up, I don't go into a shell and angry, and if I see a person that looks like they're of Muslim descent, and or I decide that what's the problem? This is America. I don't go through all of that. I'm like, hey, you know what? The enemy will always attack you. And you can't recognize the enemy, because if bad people, if criminals look like criminals, we'd have no jail. In fact, we'd have no crime. What was it? In fact, one of the movies, Mission Impossible, where they can predestine whether or not somebody's going to commit a crime, so they jail them early or something like that. That's the thing. We have to celebrate our comeback instead of shrink to the challenges that we've had. So now what I want you to do after that poem, and then we'll go back. Thanks, Haas. Major League Baseball resumed on September 17th. So 6 days, just less than a week after the attack, that's what we did. 5 days, do the math, okay? 11 plus 17 is 6. Okay, resume, okay. All right, so, but now what I want you to do is, what is your favorite team, okay? Give me your favorite team. So the baseball resumed on September 17th. What's your favorite team? I know Haas is going to put the Mets down there, or the Cardinals, okay? But it doesn't have to be a baseball team. What's your favorite team, period? Baseball would be even better. But what would be your favorite team? So we're going to have our favorite cartoons and our favorite team, and I'm going to make the point in a couple of minutes on that. But what I want to say to you is, we've got, no, in fact, I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to go on and drop a couple of those teams and cartoons in there, and then I'll make the point, because I think that's gonna be better. What's up, Curtis? All right, let me see who we got on here. The Pink Panther, the Flintstones. Yeah, right. Some good cartoons. Yeah. Okay, give me some teams. Come on, y'all. We're gonna get interactive here, or so it's like a webinar type of thing. But it makes the point that most importantly, not for me, but I want us to have something that we can you meaning us that you can go to, and so you don't have to say, well, Sporty said this, but you have to say, well, here's what I believe. Wow, you know what? This is what I think, and here's how I can use this to help me. Remember, we have to always choose our messengers carefully and recognize that we are being carefully sought after and chosen as someone else's messenger. So if we are more conscious of the message that we deliver, we become more consistent in delivering that message, and therefore we help more people. Sometimes people that we don't even know, we don't even get to see. You can't count all the people that you have helped, but you have to know that you helped a lot of people. Yeah, the Yankees. Uh-huh. Yeah, you have to know that you've helped a lot of people, because help is a domino effect. When you save someone's life, when you make someone's day, when you wish them a happy birthday, a happy new year, all of these things are ways of bringing light into people's lives. And I'm going to move on, and I still like you to add your cartoons and teams in there, but let me tell you why I wanted to do that exercise. What I want us to do, because whether you do it on the broadcast or not, do it in your life. Write down some of the things that you celebrate. See, good memories can outweigh the bad ones. Because no matter what we went through, did you still have your teams and your cartoons and your good memories? Always think about those things, because they outweigh the stuff that goes on. If you go back and listen to the broadcast and re-listen again to the poems, you'll hear the cartoons, that were in there, the fun times. You'll hear the resiliency that we've gone through. All of us have gone through something. Some of us lost people in the 911 attacks, and some of us lost people that we don't know that were connected to someone else. Right now, I'm doing my work with the military, and I've got people who were involved with that, firsthand. And that's why, what I did is, the reason I wanted you to also list what your cartoons and your favorite character, baseball or sports teams were. I want you to focus on what brings joy into your life. Don't focus on, excuse me. Don't focus on the sadness, even though there's gonna be sadness in our life. But focus on what brings joy into your life. When you focus on what brings joy into your life, then what happens? What is a reaction? You start to smile. That same person we talked about having control over us with their anger and negativity, when they see you coming, do people smile when they see you coming, or do they frown? Maybe not, and more importantly, they frown on the inside, because sometimes people are not going to let you know that they're uncomfortable with you being in their space. But how do people see you? More importantly, again, how do you see yourself? What do you focus on? And so I use it. What do you focus on to show your pride versus your anger? I want to list a couple of things that I focus on to show my pride versus my anger on a day like today, 9/11, but I carry it throughout my life. One, I focus on helping people handle stress. In fact, on them mastering stress. This year, I went and got certified for what's called an SME, a stress mastery educator, so that I can teach people not just to manage their stress, but to master their stress. And whether I teach them or not, I can deliver that message about mastering their stress. And one of our pages, I'm one of the contributing authors for American Institute of Stress magazine for their combat stress issue. They do 4 different categories. So check that out. It's something that might be able to help you, especially because we're all dealing with some type of stress. So that's one of the things that I'm focusing on to show my pride versus my anger. What's up, Barry? Good to see you. All right. And then so that's my stress. Then I'm focusing on my leadership. And and many of you know, I work with the military through a program called the Yellow Ribbon Reintegration Program, working with service and family members going through the deployment cycle. And I love them because I'm working with them. They actually, it connects to Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go. Here's why it connects, because the thing I forgot to mention with the American Institute of Stress, the combat stress issue is not just about military, but it's about military, law enforcement, firefighters, and EMTs, the different types of stress that they go through in life. And we can all agree that they've got a different type of stress going on in their life based on what they see and experience and how they feel in life situations. So that's one of the things that I enjoy with being a stress mastery educator. I got that so that I could be of more value to those types of people who are important people in my life, as well as everybody else. And that works into what I was going to say about the military and service members and family members going through the deployment cycle, because there's a different type of stress in their life. And I always say to them, I know we like to say thanks for your service, and I want you to continue to say that, but here's another level I always say to my military families: thanks for answering the call. See, thanks for answering the call. There's a high calling on our military's life, a military family. There's a high calling. America asks them to turn their life on and off at the drop of a dime or an order, and they do it. But they don't always give themselves credit for it. And that's what I want to always deliver that message to my military families. Give yourself credit for how you are able to turn your emotions on and off. It's not easy, and you probably don't do a great job of it in most cases, but you have to do it, and you have to make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us have that same type of situation, but not at that level of expectation. Likewise with family members of law enforcement, the firefighters, the EMT. See, everybody's going through some stuff. And if we could find ways to recognize that we have to be compassionate and slow ourselves down and recognize, yeah, that pissed me off, but such and such may be going through something else. Find a way to celebrate, again, to have pride in those moments where you want to have pain. And so I'm doing stress mastery. I'm also doing a yellow ribbon with my military families. And then laughter. So that's stress, leadership, laughter. I'm in an organization called AATH, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. We believe in the healing power of laughter. In fact, our primary sponsor is Cancer Treatment Centers of America. They have a laughter therapy program in their centers across the country. Laughter is healing, y'all. That's why I laugh. You see me always bringing joy and laughter into lives, but one of the things I always remind people, I don't remind them of enough, I laugh and joke, but I don't play. That's my saying. I laugh and joke, but I don't play, because I'm going to laugh and find ways to tell jokes and help you laugh and smile. But I'm serious about what God is doing through my life and with my life. I know the impact that I have on certain people's lives. Again, I don't get to count every person's life that I touch, but I get to see some of them. And I know that they're touching other lives. And I know that the important thing is for me to deliver my message. I don't have to be right. I have to be sporty. And that's the same thing that you have to recognize when you decide to be who you are and focus on what you're doing to celebrate and be proud. Then you are helping someone else. And that's what you're in this world to do, is help someone else by being who you are. So find ways to share that spirit, because remember, Jesus said, throw the seeds. He didn't say aim them. What I'm saying by that proverb is that, from the Bible, is that when the farmers came and said, our crop isn't growing, he said, well, continue to seed. Continue to throw the seeds. You don't have to aim it in one line. You have to spread seed, and you're guaranteed. You got 4 options. And the best option is option number 4. But the first option and guarantee is that some of the seed, some of the lessons and the experience and that you throw from your spirit is guaranteed to land on hard ground. Someone will not agree with you. That is a guarantee, not a hope or a question. Someone will not agree with you being who you are. That's it, bottom line. Second, some of the seed will land in the thorns, and as it grows, it will get cut off. In other words, some people will act like they believe you and they want to believe you, but once times get tough and they get a little pressure, being politically correct, they see that other people aren't agree with you. They see that you're taking them down a path that well, you know what, I don't know if I'm that faithful. then they will fall off and not find. It's like they say you can find your real friends when you get a snake bite you on your behind because you got to get the poisonous snake, to get the poison from out of snake, they say you got to suck it out. So let a snake bite you in the behind. Old joke, old school. But and then the third option, when you throw the seeds, that it will land on shallow ground. And so the crop will start to grow. But as the weather changes, as things changes, it will fade out and it will not bring you a harvest. That's why the fourth option is number one, and that is a full harvest will land on fertile ground. So you have to share your message to as many people as possible. So there's the quantity, but it's the quality of the people that you share your message to, mainly you. You have to be the quality and share your message so that people who need to hear from you will share it and they will be blessed as well. So stress, leadership, laughter, and finally, my most important thing that I do to show my pride versus my anger, to not let my anger outweigh my pride, is love. And I show my love through being the number one title that I have on my website, on my business card, is being an uncle. It is so important to me to be the right type of uncle. And if you have nieces and nephews, you need to be a good uncle. You need to be a good aunt. You need to be a good neighbor, a good brother, a good sister. Our kids, children are not our future. They're our present. They're their own future. And so we have to be able to be the important person we are in their lives so that we can help them get another option and see another way to grow. We've got people who were there for us. These days, we have to take the roles more consciously serious. Maybe back in the day, we didn't have to do that. Things have changed, y'all. If we're going to constantly talk about how, well, things have changed, well, instead of saying things have changed, say, wow, things have changed. So, what are you doing now? Are you giving yourself credit for some of the change because you're a part of the change? Those of you who grew up in my era, hey, I turned 64. I'm now 64 in 2 weeks, and come on, I grew up with black and white TV, TV console with the TV and the record player and the radio together, and in the middle of that was a bar. So come on, y'all, we've been through a lot. We're very resilient. And again, that's what that second poem was about. Play ball. So I want you to remember that you can still play ball. You can still be the resilient, successful person that you are that has been able to handle a lot of change. So on 9/11, would you say, Ali, thank you for mentioning that. Oh, you're an AMT. That's right. Thank you. God bless you. And you were there 9/11. Yes. See? So you bless people with, you don't have to know it. You have to be true to your message. We have to see, all of the things that are going on in our lives, all the people we have in our lives. So Ali, thank you for being an EMT. And anybody else, you may have somebody in your family. You may have a friend. I just watched a TV show last night, and the husband and the wife had a slight disagreement. It wasn't an argument, but it was a slight disagreement. And she left and said she was going to the store. A mile away from the house, a drunk driver hit her car and killed her. And that changed his whole countenance of how he saw himself as a father with his 2 kids now. Again, we see these things on TV, whether it's an attack in a war in another country. We see it on TV and the movies, we hear about it in the news. We don't get it in America as much, and we can become complacent and think that we got a pass, but we don't. Tragedy is everywhere, y'all. So don't just talk about enjoying each day above the ground. Enjoy each day above the ground. And then recognize that there's hollow ground that we all get to step on. And that hollow ground is you. Be the blessing so that you can be a blessing. And then when you become conscious of the blessing, then you get to share it more. It's like I always tell people, when I started my speaking business, I wanted to be the Muhammad Ali of motivational speaking, right? The greatest. But what I found out in about 2 months is that Muhammad Ali was the sporty king of boxing. Who's the you of what? You have to be the greatest. And again, there's another contrast. Our younger generation grew up learning, oh, Muhammad Ali, the greatest. But those of us who grew up when in his heyday, in his prime, when he was Cassius Clay, he was not appreciated for being the greatest. They didn't like the fact that he talked about how he was going to beat somebody. And this is not this is not waiting for, this is not a thing of, oh, when he joined the Muslims, people didn't like him. When he was Cassius Clay and he talked about how he was going to beat somebody in a fight, there were people that didn't like the fact that he showed that type of confidence in himself. So, so always remember, somebody's not going to receive your message, but you are still the messenger. Today is a day that we can spread the message of resiliency, not just how great America is, but how great we are as Americans. So please stop knocking America. Well, let me not tell you what you have to do, but recognize that this is the greatest country in the world and in history. So I will continue to celebrate it that way. I will remember 911. By the way, I have a niece, a great niece, Manu Crawford. I'm gonna give her a shout out because 911 is her birthday. And so, there's just so many great things that we can stop and celebrate about this day and about every day on this side of the year. So thank you for joining me on Blue Wednesday. I hope you'll continue to join me next week and weeks following. Again, if there's ever a topic you want me to cover, put it in the suggestion, and I'll be glad to cover it. Thank y'all for participating today, those who wrote the cartoons and the favorite teams. And now go on and increase your list and see that you've got so much more to celebrate than you have to worry about. God bless you. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.